been called out for being insensitive after so many people.
But he made that trip.
He made that trip.
Isn't that important enough? Isn't that a show of commitment?
Like I said, if you're playing the same script as of old, how does it show commitment? If you have not shown any clear what's it called? Any clear divide between the past and present, then there is nothing to celebrate.
Why must we compare?
Okay, yes, there's a need for comparison, because it's more like when there was you take up a job, they had a template, and you promise that you would do better, you will improve on the standard of delivery, and you come to deliver virtually the same thing or something that goes below the templates you were given. Should you be criticized or not? Apparently, yes, you should be criticized. So for this one, it is rather too late. Yes, let's face reality.
I mean, from Taraba, he went to Plateau State.
Okay, for what exactly?
He's going around to to dialogue with the community leaders, so that these killings can come to an end.
Now,
it's a step in the right direction.
Eventually. Now, you know what pained me? The presidency, when I read the release, it said that the reason why the president didn't check at those locations immediately was because it was taking his time to understudy the terrain. Now, this is the #1 citizen of Nigeria that we're talking about. As much as I don't have the military understanding or the military intelligence about security, I have a strong belief that even if he had checked the second or third day, nothing would happen to him.
Okay, let's take the case of the Yobe State governor.
Okay.
Who went there almost immediately, and he had troubles with the locals when he told them that, look, at the moment, we don't know the exact place where your children are, but we're doing everything we can to find them. What happened to him?
But
I mean, do you want something similar to happen to the president?
It can't happen.
Why?
Okay.
If it can happen to the state governor, who is the #1 citizen of that state, yeah.
Good. But at the same time, do you understand what it takes to have the president in your state? Do you understand the security apparatus that is involved in making sure that nothing even happens to his aides, let alone the Mr. President? Now, this is something that is of national importance, where lives of Nigerians are involved. You see, it's not where we're debating rice. It's not where we're debating economy. It's where we're talking about lives of people, that bloodshed that is happening every day. Virtually, the old North is still in that, what's it called, in that state of insecurity. Except we're going to deceive ourselves and we keep doing English. But the truth is, people are dying every day, and we are here in the South, and we don't even know.
I'll come back to you on not knowing in the first place. But Ben, let me come back to you now. What do you make of the situation? Because according to Ayobami here, he's saying that okay, it's actually a little bit too late. But the president has visited 2 communities or 2 states that have been hit by these herdsmen attacks, and in a bid, of course, to find or to bring an end to these attacks. What do you make of the situation?
I think the visit of Mr. President is coming too late. And again, apart from this visit is coming too late, there's a political connotation attached to this visit right now. What the president is doing now is to test his popularity. It's no longer a visit anymore. Because if you look at what has happened when this incident happened in Benue, we expected that the president would show leadership by visiting the state. At least 2-3 days when this incident happened, commiserate with the victims, visit the families, and come back to Abuja, and make some recommendation and look how the police and the military can resolve this issue. But he did not. The president visited Nasarawa State, a nearby state. How many minutes will it take the president to visit Nasarawa and Benue? It's not going to take him a 45 minutes flight with his chopper. The vehicle was in Nasarawa. What was he there to do in Nasarawa? Just to commission a project, test his popularity. He came back to Abuja. The president was in Kanu, test his popularity and also for some wedding invitation also, came back to Abuja. And after some time, the president now made an announcement that he's going to visit Taraba. He has gone to Taraba, and now he will make a trip to Benue and then to Rivers, which I find it also is not necessary to visit Rivers State. But having said that, whatever you see happening today is as a result as the president not taking a proactive measure, not taking steps when he's supposed to take steps to see these people. Let's take a very good example. with what happened in the US at the Florida shooting. It didn't take in the last within 24 hours. Donald Trump was already there to see the families, and before you know what was happening, they were trying to make amendment, pass a bill that will warrant that will make teachers in the school to begin to carry arms to protect themselves against some of these rascals that want to use gun to take the lives of people. That is how government should be run. But you sat back, you visited places that you feel that are more important to you, and the main people feeling the heat, feeling the burn. Not just Benue, Zamfara is also there. There's a big siege in Zamfara State. Nobody's talking. People are not talking about that because of the way the governor himself is handling the issue. Because if the governor of Zamfara is also handling the issue the way the governor of Benue State is handling the issue, it will draw more attention. Benue has gotten more attention to the fact that even the former president has to visit the place. The president also gave rule for the likes of the two governors from PDP to visit there before him, and making them gain a political point there. And unfortunately, when the election comes, you don't be surprised that APC will not win Benue State anymore. And the thing, and the fact
that's for when the election comes. Let's wait and let's wait till we get that point.
But because you're not giving them rooms, you're not giving rooms. There's loophole here and there, and so of course the opposition will capitalize on some of this loophole. This loophole you've created for them to achieve some major victories in the coming election. So I think the president visit there is of no use, because if he goes there now, the people, I'm not sure that even the people of Benue State will be happy to see him, because when they wanted him, he was not there for them.
Well, let's. I mean, you've already brought in the Benue State governor. Let's look at the role that state governors even have to play. When such attacks happen, everything mustn't stop at the president's buck. Don't you think the state governors also have measures they can put in place, or roles they can play when stuff like this happen, to mitigate it or even calm frayed nerves?
Yeah, the state governor have a very huge role to play in this issue, because number one, this is your domain. You are the governor of the state, and like they say, he's the number one chief security officer of the state. So he has the governor of Benue has been doing his best to see how he can handle the issue. There have been rumors that he's trying to arm some youths to defend themselves. Well, I don't know how true that rumor is, but he's trying his best to see, because number one, the security architecture generally is not in his own, is not in his stable. They take command from the center, from Abuja, and so, but he's trying his best, and that should also, and this should also bring our mind to see how we can restructure the security architecture in the country. If the federal government will take hold of security, but they should allow the state government to operate, at least to take for the CP of the state to take command from the governor. So the governor has a huge role to play. In fact, the reason why Benue is commanding so much attention is because of the role the governor has played. The man has come crying out, using every resources available to him to cry out. People are speaking up for him. People are traveling to that state frequently. If you look at the number of killings that have happened in Benue, and you look at what has happened in Zamfara State, you find that they are almost of the same scale. They're almost of the same scale, but the difference is the governor in charge. The governor in charge of Benue, and the one in charge of Zamfara State. There is something the governor of Benue State is doing that the Zamfara State governor is not doing. That's the difference here. And so when you value the life of people, when you value the life of your people, you will go out to do anything for them, even if it means for you to provide personal arms, something else you can do. Out of the issue of using the police, the state police, and whatever you have, you go out to do anything to make sure that they protect themselves, because this killing is becoming too much. It's becoming out of hand, because pockets of killing here and there, and people are no longer safe. Having IDPs in your own country, becoming refugees in your own country, in your own state, not that you're going to somewhere else. Boy, this is your own state, your own village. You can no longer stay in your own village. You have to go and come on. This is unspeakable. And when these things are happening, I don't think the international community will take us that serious, because they will think that we are not serious enough to protect ourselves, and so they'll just overlook us.
All right, let me come back to so he made mention about the governor not having the security apparatus under his control. That brings us to the issue of whether or not we need to have state police.
Oh, I've always been one who had joined the agitation for state police. Like, I say something that in Lagos State, for example, directly or indirectly, that's arm of police in Lagos. You have the state police,
which is
the RRS. Then you have the neighboring Lagos Neighborhood Watch working together. The RRS are those. That's the arm of police in Lagos that they actually relate with you. They give you that community service and protection. Now, when you compare the governor's intervention, immediate intervention, and the president's visits, they are not on the same parallel level. No, you know why? Because you're talking about the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the man that controls the armed forces. The governor might immediately get up from his chair, get up from his stool with his aides, with his security, state security, and say, okay, let's see what we can do, how we can intervene, what intervention can be done immediately based on human that emotional feeling, human sympathy. But you see what the visit of a president would not, first of all, douse that tension, show that sense of responsibility, give people the belief that we still have a functional government rather than a very insensitive one when you just sit down and the people feel lives does not mean anything.
But let's see, talking about insensitivity, immediately it happened. Immediately, let's look at the Dapchi issue. We had the Minister of Information visiting twice, including with the Minister of Interior, the top security officials, the defense chief. In fact, we have an AIG deployed to Yobe State. These are measures. So I don't think the government is totally insensitive. Those are measures.
Like you said, not totally insensitive. But do you have some late interventions or not? Yes.
What about the immediate ones? Shouldn't they get a kudos for that?
Okay, get kudos for sending the Minister of Information.
Oh, yeah.
Wait,
the Minister of Interior.
Minister of Interior.
Who is actually responsible? I mean, because the Minister of Defense and all reports to the Minister of Interior. Exactly.
Now, and do you know that even days after that the Dapchi kidnap, a lot of people were still in the dark. It wasn't as popularized like the Chibok girls. Till now, there are people on the streets who still know that Chibok girls have not been found. But ask them about Dapchi, they don't know.
Just hold your thought. We'll take a break for a minute. We'll take a break for a minute and we'll be back shortly. Please stay with us. All right. Thank you for staying with us. We're still joined by Ayobami Ladipo, who is the CEO and publisher of Porsche Classy Media in the studio, as well as Ben Cosmos on the Google Plus Hangout. But let me again come back to you. We're looking at the steps taken by the government immediately after which is the most recent one, the Dapchi girls were abducted, and you still believe?
Yeah, that a more proactive measure could have been taken. Yeah, let me give you a quick one.
Hold on. What? Oh, okay. Do I need to call for a break? Or just come back from the break? On the white shot? Okay, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Thank you for staying with us, joining us, or still with us in the studio to continue our discussion on the security issues, as well as the visit of Mr. President to states hit by herdsmen attacks. We still have Ayobami Ladipo as well as Ben Cosmos, who joins us from Malaysia. But Ayobami, let me come back to you. Looking at those measures before we took the break, I mean, you still think that the government should have done more than they did?
Yes. I'll give you an example. During the president's medical trip, while he was in UK for about 6 months, the vice president, who was the acting president, took very proactive measures at every time there was a sensitive issue. A major one was the Avengers. He left Abuja, had consultations with everybody who mattered.
Isn't that what the president is doing now?
No. Wait, is it doing that now when it matters most? Is it doing it when things could have actually been done properly?
Had they not been done properly? No.
No. Timely. Not timely. No. You see, there are ways that you kill the morale of people. You make them lose that faith in the government. The moment you make people lose faith in the government, then they feel we probably need to defend ourselves. And when it comes to that point, when the citizens believe that their protection is in their own hands, they can go out of the way to do things that are not supposed to be done.
Hold on, I'll come back to you on that again. All right, Ben, let's look. Let me come back to you, Ben. Let's look at the fact that now the police has said that every person in possession of firearms, either with or without licenses, should return them. And from what Ayobami is saying, that it's people are getting to the point where they feel that they need to defend themselves. Do you think it's in place for this law to be put in place at the moment?
Well, if Nigeria was to be a country that is working, I don't think people will have possession. People begin to go out to buy firearms to keep for themselves, except it's criminals. And when a criminal is arrested, you know what they know what to face. But unfortunately, I don't think, even if they make this, I don't think people want to bring out these arms, especially those that bought it for self-defense and to protect themselves and their family and probably a community. I don't think they want to bring it out, except the government will show seriousness in fighting this crime, in dealing with this issue, fighting Boko Haram and these militias killing people. But if the government will not show any effort, serious effort on ground, put a serious concrete effort, make a concrete effort on ground that they are out to deal with these people, then I think any call they are making is just a lip service call, because it is not going to yield any result. Because you can't tell me that I know if I go to my village, someone is going to come, attack me anytime from now, and you want me to surrender my arms to the police. I don't think I will do that. And most of these people don't even trust the security officials anymore. So there's even a big trust issue between the citizens and the security operative. Let's not sweep that under the carpet. And so I think what the security agency should do now is to come up and the executive look at our security issues, look at the number of the policemen and the military men we have on ground, know how we can improve their capacity in terms of equipping them with proper equipment, good mobility, technology. I don't think currently that our security apparatus, they have enough enough security, they have enough equipment they have in their possession to fight this crime, because things are beginning to go digital, and a lot of technology is being used to fight crime. So doing things manually will not really help them, because what I see the police, they are trying to do things in a kind of manual way. How many helicopters do they have? Surveillance helicopters do they have? In terms of rapid response, distress call. How many from Makurdi, the state capital, to these villages? Do they have the equipment, the wherewithal to move there within 30 minutes of any call? I don't think they have anything. I don't think they have such machineries in place. So we have to look at how we can equip our funding, equip our military personnel, so that they will be able to protect our lives, because our lives is very important. And secondly, nobody has, let me say this, please. Nobody has told the president that even with his 12 million votes, he can still lose the election. If people are not telling him the truth, he should know that even with his 12 million votes, he can still have it and still lose the election. So he should stop.
I have to hold it there, Ben Cosmos. Thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to always have you on the program. So just in wrapping up now, what do you expect to see?
Well, I expect to see a more responsive government, a more proactive government, a government that shows that the people's lives really matters, a government that says is a government of the people, is a government for all and not for anybody in particular. Should show concern to the people at every time and bridge that communication gap.
Ayobami Ladipo, thanks for joining us on the program. I will take a break and we'll be back with the most videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. Please stay with us.